What is up, everybody? My name is Simono. You guys already know me. And today I wanted to discuss the 3 types of gloves for boxing. And before I get started, I want to tell you guys that I've been looking at gloves because these ones on the, I guess the right one, there's like tearing between the strap and the leather strap and the fist part and the glove, and like the finger part, and like the thumb part. That means that these are gonna turn into my what's it called? Crap. That these are gonna turn into my combo gloves. Like combo pad work gloves. And then whenever I'm planning on getting bag gloves first, and then those will obviously be used because you can see the wrist support on these. You can see there's a liner. If you look, it's really nice. Glove is just wow. I think they did a good job on this glove. But look, you see, just like the real Winnings, they don't have the strap here to close it up like that. It doesn't really close it up. And the knuckle protection, it goes right through. So, and look, this probably has the worst support of all my gloves. So these are going to turn into mitt gloves, not heavy bag. Whenever I get bag gloves, which that's going to be whenever I get money. I'm not sure. 14, so I can't get any job yet. But hopefully I'll have money in time to get some gloves. But anyway, now let's get on to the differences. The first one I want to talk about is gonna be the puncher glove. The reason I put this one in the middle is because it's a mix. So I'll do that in the middle because you'll kind of get the idea, The middle obviously goes in the middle. This is a puncher's glove. Obviously, this is probably the most famous glove that you can see. Cleto Reyes. Everybody knows Cleto. Everybody who knows boxing knows Cleto. They're very snug fit. They don't fit hand wraps, but my goodness. The wrist support, as you can see, it's definitely got some sort of punch. Pretty much no knuckle protection, but you get the best pop with these. These are gloves that you don't use. These are the kind of gloves that you really don't use hand wraps with because they don't fit. Obviously, the pro ones have space for hand wraps and gauze. So boom, you see, it's lighter than this, and probably lighter than this. I mean, not lighter, heavier. These are heavy gloves. They really hit hard. And sort of feel right here. The knuckle protection is pretty much non-existent. You can probably use these over and over and over again on the heavy bag. And unlike having one of the 2 other gloves I'm about to mention, these will break down your knuckles. They're kind of like a bag mitt, except for these. These are a little more uncomfortable. I hate to say it, but Cleto is really uncomfortable. They're special made. It's like they're special made for smaller hands. I got medium-sized hands, but these, whenever you make a fist, these have the best feeling when it comes to the fist. The thumb is in an awkward position. You can see the thumb goes here. It curves. Versus this one, yeah, it curves, but it's more so a little more straight. So, see the 2 gloves? That one, it's like it puts your thumb in a position like this versus this. It might be tighter, but it's like, if you can see, it's like, it's a really weird position. It's definitely weirder than, I'd say, this or this. This probably has one of the best thumbs. Anyway, though, Cleto is the kind of one you want to use to inflict damage or get the best feedback. When you punch it, you want to hear, when you punch a pad or something, you want to hear that pop. You want to hear it go boom like that. These are definitely the best gloves for that. And but they have, I'd say, the worst knuckle protection. But the grip bar, you can see on the grip bar, it is really stiff. But that doesn't really mean that it's only specifically for Play-Doh, and it's not only for puncher's gloves. It's for, some gloves have a flimsy grip bar, some have a lot more stronger of a grip bar, and it really does make a difference. Some people don't overlook that, but I think that it gives it a nice wrap. You can really feel it, you know. But these finger compartments are a little short if you were to compare it to the Superior. Turn sideways. You can see it's kind of like this versus, it's kind of like this versus this being this, you know. But that's what I have to say about puncher gloves. But they do have some really good protection. But in a fight, you probably have seen Pacquiao wear these, Oscar De La Hoya, I think Chavez has worn these. These are probably the most famous gloves. I want to get on to the middle. This one is in between these two. This is a protective glove. You can see I have the Power Locks. As you can see, it says it right there, Power Lock. These are they're a mix between protective and hard hitting. When you put your hand in, these Everlast are really flimsy. You get the leather ones, they're not as flimsy, but these are actually still, believe it or not, Everlast gets a bad reputation, but these are actually pretty good gloves. You can see, you can open up with this pretty easily. It is synthetic leather. I don't like that with my gloves. I like my gloves to be leather. But compared to these, you can see the finger pocket. It's a little deeper than Play-Doh. Play-Doh is notorious for their small finger pockets. They're mainly for smaller hands, unless if you were to get a big size. Now, as you can see with these, I'm gonna do it right here. You can see it kind of. It seems like it has more padded, I guess you can say. It's not filled with horsehair. These are not filled with horsehair. These are, so it's just, look. Boom. Watch my release. It just bounces right back up. Boom. Boom. Versus these. Boom. See, it takes a while. It's like, it goes down. For these, it goes down. Boom. These, it goes here, here. And then I'll talk about these later. But these are a mix between a puncher's glove and a pillow glove. They protect your hand while also giving you really good pop too, but not as good as puncher's gloves. While these do have good knuckle protection, they are not as good as the third one I'm about to get into. The wrist support on these are flimsy, really flimsy, and that's not because that's not how all protective gloves are. That's just how this glove is. You see, it's really flimsy. Play-Doh. Trying to we were at the same page, but these obviously they flop all over the place. But that's just the glove itself. It's not really the actual style of the protective glove. It's just this glove itself. Now, I want to talk about probably the most famous brand that you guys probably know protective gloves from, and they're Grant's. Grant, you probably have seen Floyd wear Spence Jr., Haney. Everybody uses them. basically, I say now, they're kind of like the official glove of boxing. That and Cleto. More and more people are getting fond of the protective because it doesn't break down your knuckles as much over time. You get the knockout power, but it doesn't break out down your hands. But you don't get as good of a pop, and you don't deal more damage. Um, People that wore these they fought like Mexicans. Um, you probably have seen Margarita wear them. De La Hoya, as I think I already mentioned, might not have. Maidana wore these, but he mainly wore on one of his fights. He wore MXs. That's another popular version of a punch as well. Pacquiao, he wears these all the time. Um, and you see those kind of people, they've used them over time, and their knuckles are probably a little more developed than someone like Mayweather. Mayweather notoriously wears Grant. They protect his hands. They don't inflict as much damage on the hands, but they don't do as much damage to the opponent. But now I want to get on to the third glove, pillow. This is what a pillow glove looks like. You see? It's more, how do I say it? It's like, it feels like a pillow. You shoved your hand in here, and it feels like a pillow. You see, these and these have the best protection. These have pretty much none. It's meant to, the horsehair is meant to kind of just plop down. It's like I think it's also latex or something like that. Well, these are usually made with foam. These are usually made with horsehair and latex, I think, for the spring feedback. These are made with, I think they're also foam. There's foam and I think sometimes they use other kind of stuff. Feathers in this room. No, they don't. They really don't. But they're called a pillow glove because when you put your hand in it and you feel it, it feels like a pillow. These have the best protection. These and these have the best protection, as I mentioned before. But I would say that notoriously, we know that Winning is known for their pillow gloves. They're probably the most popular brand when it comes to pillow gloves, and I say one of the top 5 most popular brands in general. They're really sought after, and if you look at the price range between the most popular brands of these 3 gloves, this one is the least expensive, with Cleto being around $200. Grant is the most popular brand. They are very specialty. They're even more specialty than Winning sometimes. They cost about $500, and that costs, I think, while it is a little bit overkill, you do get what you pay for. And I'd say, even though I haven't used Grant, I've heard amazing things about them, and you do get what you pay for. But this is basically the golden standard. Clear's the golden standard. Puncher gloves are probably the most popular. Puncher gloves and protective. Pillow are not as well known. Cleto, you obviously get what you pay for. And in fact, I think you get a little more than what you paid for, because you get very good stuff with Cleto. The most popular brand for pillow gloves are Winning, and they're pretty much the only brand that does it, except for Superior and a few other brands that do Japanese style boxing gloves. They are probably the most popular. I mean, they are the most popular. They're probably the ones that are the most comfortable. In my opinion, they're the most comfortable, least comfortable. And this is in general. I'm talking about in general. Puncher's gloves are usually very uncomfortable and they're really snug. These are in the middle of them. Pillow are very protective. They feel good. My go-to gloves are these and these. Sadly, I don't use Cleto because if they had more space where I could put my hand wraps in there, I always use hand wraps. I don't think I've really trained without them because it's notorious that every boxer is supposed to wear hand wraps. It's basically the golden thing. In fact, back in the days when they had bag mitts, the thumb would be loose but they had hand wraps on sometimes. Sometimes they had hand wraps on, sometimes they didn't. And these, you're not going to hurt your opponent with these, I'll tell you that. As you can see, and then I punched my hand. This one, even though it didn't hurt because I'm not actually punching here or something, this one felt like it would do the most damage. No, I don't even feel anything. In fact, I'm gonna go here. Obviously, hitting to the face is gonna be way different. They're gonna feel it. Hitting to the body, no matter what. You get hit in the body here, here, or here, you're gonna feel it. These are that kind of gloves though that are more protective. You use it. You don't use. Yes, you can obviously knock someone out with these. You can knock someone out with any gloves. I mean, it doesn't really matter. But these are more so for protecting yourself, protecting your hand. In Japan, these are the most popular gloves, I'd say. But other than that, I'd say that's all I gotta say about these gloves. My favorite is between these two. Well, I haven't. The reason I'd probably say these because these have room for hand pillow gloves. They're a little more loose, and when they are snug, they're snug to where they're more flexible. You can put hand wraps on and then put these on, and they'll still fit. It's kind of like it expands because of how soft the material is. It's kind of like it expands, and they don't really have one of the straps that connect this, which I do not like. Because even though it'll make it just a little more snug, and maybe if you wear these big hand wraps, obviously it might suffocate them a little bit, but it would offer a lot more wrist support. It would lock in your wrist more. Wrist support, I say these. These and these for wrist support. Hand protection, these. Damage, these two, but obviously these. The whole point of a puncher's glove is to inflict damage. You're breaking down your hands while you're breaking down the other opponent's body and head. That's the whole point of a puncher's glove. This is to protect yourself, and your opponent is not going to feel damage as much as they would with a Cleto. These are right in the middle. They inflict damage, but they protect your hands better than a Cleto would. That's all I gotta say though, and if you guys were to pick up one of these three gloves, I would definitely recommend, might sound surprising, but boom, Superior. These go for about 70 bucks. If you want to leave the video right now, you can. But I want to talk about which one I would prefer. The reason I say these are the best for training because they protect your knuckles, but you do still get feedback. You can use them for almost anything. If you have 16 ounce, you can use them for sparring, which these are best for. 16 ounce are definitely 16 ounce pillow gloves are definitely better than 16 ounce protective or 16 ounce puncher. You never want to use a puncher when you're sparring. But these would definitely work. These are probably the best value for money out of these three gloves that I have. These, while they're definitely not the best, obviously, they're clearly not great, but they're really good. They're actually good for the money you pay. But these, somebody who has winnings, T-Square Boxing, I know I mentioned him a lot, but he said that these feel just like winning. And not just like, but he said they feel really similar to winnings. And I think that the comfort of these gloves, definitely the comfort of these gloves and the protection of these gloves and the quality of these gloves definitely gives it a better value and makes it to where the more money you're paying, that these are about 50 bucks. These are about 85, 90. To where that 20, 30 bucks you're paying, 20, 30 bucks more that you're paying for these, is to good use. But these are obviously entry level. That's how they're supposed to be. I had these when I was starting out. I was like, half a year into it or so, around that time frame, and I got these for my birthday. My birthday's on July 13th, coming up a little bit. But these are the most expensive out of these three gloves I have. being a puncher's glove, I definitely recommend these more for fighting. Don't use them for sparring. These are good for combat moves, for pads, double in bag. I'd say if you shadow box with gloves on and you like the snug feel of these would work for that too. But most importantly, I say these are the best for fights, because even though it breaks in your neck a little more, you do the most damage with them. It all depends on your fighting style. The aggressive ones always go with this. Sometimes they go with Grant though. The more defensive fighters will go with a protective glove. And then these, I've seen both fighters use them. I think Inoue has used winning before, and he's a really aggressive fighter. So, it all comes down to what you prefer. Do you prefer more protection but less damage and the worst wrist support? Not the worst, but not as good wrist support. Or do you choose less protection, more damage, but really good wrist support too? Or do you want it in the middle? That's what it all comes down to. I personally prefer these and these. I don't settle in the middle. It all depends what I plan to do for a fight or during training, I don't use these for training though, they're too snug as I said before. But that's just clear. Anyways though, I'd like to thank you guys for your time and watching this video. If you guys like the video, you can put a thumbs up. I don't care, do what you like. If you didn't like the video, thumbs down, tell me what I can do better. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys all later.